Hey guys, it's me Corey. Just doing up another video here. This one is an AI zone classifier. Um, so basically, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take a file that has a bunch of addresses in it. For example, like this. Here, I'll do it. I'll show you the test file I have here, and it's got the addresses listed under the address column here. And what it does is it goes and deciphers whether or not that this address is um, a residential address, a commercial address, or an industrial address, and so on. And so we have in this one, not done it in this file, but we did it in another one. So I'll pull it up here, just 1 second. So right here, it's classified them. So you can see here the zoning is classified for each one, and it did a pretty decent job there. I can kind of show you um, somewhat of an example here on splitting the screen, and you can kind of look here. So if I put in this address here, I guess some of the first addresses didn't come out well. I'll just point them out here. So this one is like it's next to a residential zone, but it's actually commercial. So it kind of screwed that one up, and I think it screwed up the first two, but then it started nailing it. Well, this one is kind of commercial in a way, I guess you could say there. So if you look here, this is the area right here, and it looks to be next to a school or on a school property and so on there. This one is labeled as industrial, so we'll see here. Oh, there's no need for directions at all. So put that in again. And this one's industrial here. It labels that one. It's close, whether or not it's industrial is it's like a light industrial warehouse, if anything. So that nailed that. So Google Maps has not, like they have not got an API that clearly indicates, and this is right next door to the industrial area, so this is also labeled industrial. So I just wanted to show you how the accuracy is working here. So this looks like a church building in a way. And the way I did it was I just take a snip of the overhead image from the satellite image. I could also build it so that it takes two images, one here. This looks like residential almost, and this one right here. And you can see here it's based. It's like a church building almost in a way, and but it's like in an industrial area. So it's a I guess you could call light industrial in a way there, and it kind of did nail that, even though it's not truly an industrial building, but it's an industrial area, and so on here. So I think that's pretty good so far there. This area right here is labeled commercial, and you can see it's in the trees, and it's surrounded by commercial zoning, it looks to be. So I just thought I'd give you a little preview of how accurate this is, so that you can see right here, this looks like a residential, but it's actually commercial, but it looks like a residence, and you can see it here too as well there, that it's a house. So it's pretty close. I don't need it to be perfect. This is residential, and it nailed the residence. So far we're getting a pretty accurate reading, I would say there. Like 80% or so is pretty decent for me. I don't need to be 100%. And it's just basically to zone off and show like, hey, this is able to, zone all of the areas. And I could probably refine it too and specify in subzoning areas. But I thought the three zones would be simple enough there. Industrial, commercial, and residential is fine for now. And if somebody wanted to go, I can build it so I can get a subzone too as well. But for now or whatever there, I thought that this would be intriguing for some people when they're trying to, you know, narrow down their filters of the details of a company and so on. And I thought that this is a great start. You know, you have their zoning classification, so you can identify whether or not they're in a commercial zone, industrial, or residential. And this is great for what I do. I do freight brokering, and this narrows down whether an address is in a residential area, so that helps me decipher whether or not they might be using trucking companies or not there, based on their ability to get a truck into the location. So I just thought I'd demo a quick look at my application. So this is the front end here, and the way it's integrated with all the popular APIs, Google, OpenAI, Anthropic, DeepSeek, Olama, which is local, and Grok. And so we're doing Gemini only this demo because it's free. That's why I don't want to use anything else. I did try to do it in batches so that when I'm doing a prompt, it does 5 images per batch, or you could set it. I did test it on 10, 8, and 6, and it was doing a rough job, really rough job. So I switched it down to 5, and 5 did it, 4 does it, and so on. And that previous one was a 4. Now, you can also do a test on it as well. Like if you ever get this program from me, you can test to see if it's working based on, you know, putting in your address here, and I'll give it an address here so you can kind of see how it works. So basically what it will do is it will spit out an image on the test, and it should work. So there's the test right there. So what it does is it goes to that address with this image, and it takes a copy of this image, inputs it into the Gemini AI, and then it asks it the question of whether or not that address where the red dot is a residential, industrial, or commercial address based on where the pin is, and then it spits out the answer. And so that's how it gets this result here out of these under here, is based on taking that image. Now I could base it off of what I showed you already there with the second image. One second here, where we could just take this image too as well. So you take that image there, the satellite view, and the street view image would even really hammer down. And I'm pretty sure based on those two images, you would get something quite more accurate. But at the same time, you could get a lot different results depending on the construction of the area, because Google Maps is constantly updating there. It might be old images there where the zone is not fully developed, and getting a satellite image can kind of show the whole area, and it'll show the industrial around it, so it might be able to nail it down that way based on a pin drop in a forest. So yeah, so I thought I'd just quickly demo this off there, that this is Address Zoning Classifier is what I call this, and I'm doing it in bulk, so I'm hoping to do a test run on I haven't done a full test run on like 5,000 addresses at once, but we're going to be testing it. Actually, we can do a test right now while I'm talking about it here. So how about that? So you're going to watch if I hit a API limitation. It should. So here it is right here. It's starting batch 1 of with 5 addresses. It found 7,002 rows in the file. So we're doing 5 images per prompt. So I'm hoping that I don't hit an API and a limit, but you never know. It could, because it's supposed to be 10 requests per minute, and I'm not too sure if we're going to be doing more than 10 in a minute or not, or hitting that API limitation. So we will find out right now while we're talking. I guess, yeah, we're at the 10 minutes so far, so we'll see how it goes and so on there. Yeah, 6,000 rows in this one file is a lot. So and if it stops, like a couple features I got is if it stops, it automatically updates the file. And if it starts and sees the address or the zoning column, like you see here, if it's seen this header already in there, it'll just skip down to the nearest available row if there's an address under the address column. So we got that in there as well. So that's a nice little feature as well. And it does spit out whether there's problems as well. So far, I don't see. It doesn't seem like it had a problem so far. Actually, that's pretty good there. Usually, if it has a problem, it will tell you. Here, I'll zoom up because this is previous runs up here. Actually, there. So there it is right there. So it'll say multi-image analysis failed, falling back to single image processing, which means that it'll do per prompt one zone at a time. And it'll even spit out, sometimes it spits out unknown. But the reason why that was happening was because the fact that I was trying to prompt at a batch of 6 images per prompt, and that's not working. So the best idea is to stay below 5 images per prompt, and it looks like it's working pretty good. So we got commercial here, commercial there, residential here, commercial here, commercial here. So I don't know what to think about zoning for 10 4 seasons. So I'm not too sure what to think about. Okay, well, it's got zoning there, so we'll have to see what the results are if the AI was messing up the responses, because it looks like right here you can see the responses are real simple, and then they get the zoning here. So I think actually it might be they go together here. So this is commercial, industrial, no, mixed. I'm not too sure if commercial here means mixed here, and industrial here means industrial there, and industrial here means industrial here. And then you got commercial again, and you got mixed, and then you got commercial above that, you got mixed here. So I think that these are connected. That's what that means there. Mixed is probably a mixture of commercial and industrial, or commercial and residential, but I would assume it's more commercial industrial. Yeah, some residential and commercial. So they do have the mixed as well there, and then that is a output response. So that's kind of interesting. And they got commercial, residential, commercial, residential, residential. And so I think we've been going a couple minutes now. So we've gone 3 minutes, and we are still working. So that means that my API requests are doing a good job there. They're not overwhelming the API and the limitations. So I don't have to update, it looks like, well, at the moment here right now there. I guess I shouldn't speak too soon. Sometimes it always screws up midway through the video or at the end of the video. And but at the moment right now there, I'm pretty sure we're good, because we have already gone 3 minutes in, and I'm pretty sure we've made well over 30 or 50 requests now, and we are still rolling. So that's great news, because that means I don't have to update the program for batch processing to slow it down, so that I can meet the requirements of the of Google. They're saying, hey, you're processing too much for us there. So this is great news, and they might use this data actually there. They might like this actually there, that I'm doing this. They're probably dying for somebody to go in and label all their places with a residential or industrial. And we can test these out too actually there. How about that? So while we're at it here, we'll take an industrial. Hopefully this is going to work good. And see, this should be an industrial. Oh. Yep, there it is right there. Bam. So we got an industrial there. So that is good news. So this is working. You know, this is quite exciting information to see this. This is a residence. So we'll do some testing while we're watching here. And keep on clicking the wrong one. Yep, residential. So what's the next one here? Okay, so look at that, eh? So that is considered fetching address. Oh wait, we don't have what do they label it as here? So 5 addresses. So it might be labeling them down below. I don't know if that's industrial there. What were we getting here? We're in an industrial area, so that might be right. And then is this the address right here? So this is industrial. Let's go back here. Just to make sure. Yeah. That's right. So there he goes. Yeah, so it's working pretty good. Still nailing down the addresses pretty good. And I'm pretty satisfied with it so far there. That's a pretty cool thing. So we'll see if it completes there. I'll update you guys another time there, or I'll put a comment in the section here of this video, and then that way you guys know that this completed 7,000 without stopping, non-stop, and it didn't cost me a cent to build this application out. So it's pretty exciting. And you know, now I got some more refined data to build up my database. You know, so every piece is getting a new, there's an address, there's cities, there's emails, there's social media links for these companies, there's whether they have an about page. There's a lot here, guys, and even job listings out here as well. There, it's getting to be pretty crazy, the amount of detail that I've put into these files there, and you know, I don't think there's a database out there that's really doing this well. You know, Google itself, I guess you could say, there is doing it in a way, but you know, this is pretty cool that we're getting a database that detailed, and we'll see how it goes for the future here. But I thought I'd just do a quick demo of my application and how, you know, I build these programs out and get the data and keep on adding to those databases. And so hopefully you like my video, and comment, like, subscribe, and also if you have any ideas of any little software applications like this that you'd like to see with AI, you know, just put a message in the comments there about what you'd like to see, and I'll see if I can build it. Okay, take care, friend. Bye for now.